Hello, hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Today is a beautiful day. I'm going to show you absolutely everything about Master Yi in Split 3. A lot of things has changed and a lot of questions occurred over the time. What builds do you take? What runes do you take? Do you now finally take Lethal Tempo? Do you take Prestige Tech? What do you think is the best? Is Hail of Blades good? Does a crit build work? So many questions, and here right now I want to answer everything so you are totally covered. I have played every single day 8 hours and I've played so much Master Yi for all my games, and I'm currently Master Tier grinding for rank 1. Now, for Master Yi, let's first of all introduce me. Who am I even to talk? I'm the best Master Yi in the entire world since season 6. So, since around 8 years, I'm the best Master Yi in the world, consistently challenger and hit rank 1 last season, and I will hit rank 1 this season, which will lead to me being a multi-season rank 1 player. I hope you're doing fantastic, and now we're gonna start right away with the runes, which is the most discussed topic out of all of them, most likely. Okay, let me go here to runes and explain first of all the options that there are there. Okay, first option is Conqueror and Prestige Tech. Those two are totally valid, in my opinion, not the best at all. Okay, that means why? I will explain it thoughtfully and detailedly. Conqueror stacks until 12 stacks, and you are able to stack it also not even that bad with your auto attack resets with W, with double strike, but still it's too slow. It just doesn't give you the big value. It doesn't give you enough damage. It gives you some healing, but it's just not enough because most of the times you will be protecting yourself the most if you deal the most damage. So Conqueror, out of all the runes, is just not good enough. It is decent as most builds, as most runes, but it's not good enough. There are better ways to go on with your life, with your games. Next, Prestige Tech. Prestige Tech will deal damage in comparison to Conqueror, but it's not enough. In most games, Coup de Grace, Triumph, everything just does more than the keystone Prestige Tech. Don't get me wrong, Prestige Tech is great, and I think there are a lot of situations where it does make the difference between you killing a target and you not killing a target. I do have to say though, I don't believe that it is the best to take. I think it simply doesn't deal enough damage for it to be a very viable rune. Now we're gonna talk about the biggest rune about all of this. Lethal Tempo. In my opinion, Lethal Tempo right now, as it is the best rune with a big difference for Master Yi. It's not even close. If you struggle with Lethal Tempo, you're just not playing it correctly. And I want you, with all my heart, to improve both in real life, both in-game, so you become the best version of yourself where you can use Lethal Tempo at your best of abilities. Okay? So why is it so good? Because it gives you permanently attack speed. Every stack is half a dagger. And with that, and you can stack it up to 6 stacks, so that's around 3 daggers. And with that, you would simply be able to get your Q back after faster. You will be able to have longer extended fights. Usually when you enter a fight, let's say you are playing against a Tarvin, right? And you're trying to fight him early. What happens if you have Hail of Blades as a comparison? Or Prestige Tech? You're gonna fight him. You're gonna attack him, let's say auto attack with your E, you're gonna attack him, then you're gonna use your Q, he's half HP, you are still a little bit above him, but then he just EQs out. There's nothing more to do. And if you don't use your abilities, he simply does more damage than you. But if you have Lethal Tempo, you will slowly attack him, you don't use your E. You're gonna wait with your Q until he EQs away, and then you will follow up with him. You will be able to fight better and stronger than him because you're exponentially getting stronger on each and every auto attack. And that's the key of Master Yi. The key of Master Yi is to get consistently stronger every second in fight. So that is exactly what you're trying to do. You're gonna take Lethal Tempo so you get always stronger and stronger and stronger in your fight. Then, the next things. I talked about this throughout multiple guides, and you know it yourself. Triumph, Alacrity is the best. The only question is not which runes are good for Yi. The question is, what is the best runes for Yi? And the best runes for you are Lethal Tempo, Triumph, Alacrity. Alacrity gives you the most attack speed, better than all the other options. Triumph gives you an insane amount of healing, also gives you a lot of gold. Coup de Grace, Last Stand, and Cut Down are all totally fine. In my opinion, Coup de Grace is by far the best. It doesn't even matter if it does the most damage. It just matters that you are able to get your resets off, which is also the core of Master Yi. Now a secondary, there are 3 options you have. Okay, then I want to talk about Hate of Blades real quick too. Hate of Blades is also really decent, and you prefer that 100% you are allowed to take it. I just don't think it's the best. It's a very cheesy playstyle if you're playing like Master Yi with Ignite Smite and you're level 3 invading enemy jungle consistently. It's fine, you can take it. I still wouldn't. I still would go lethal tempo in this case. But if you're very confident this is gonna be better for you, I'm not gonna stop you. It's your free will. I'm just gonna explain you what is the best. Okay, so now we talked about the first position tree here. And now, domination, resolve, or inspiration. Inspiration, magical footwear, cosmic insight, extremely goated, really, really good. But domination is just more gold efficient. Aibo collection gives you enough damage. Treasure Hunter gives you a lot of gold, totally good. Like really, really good in comparison to inspiration, and it's just better. It's gonna be solo queue. There's gonna be a lot of kills on the line. No matter how consistent you are playing, you will be able to get a lot of opportunities, a lot of kills done. Next is Relentless Hunter. Also really, really good option. In comparison to Treasure Hunter. My advice here is you take what you prefer, because I can gladly say with all my heart both are extremely fine and both are very, very viable. Me personally, I prefer Treasure Hunter more because I just know for a fact that Master Yi is one of the best gold scaling champions in the entire game. You want to get your items. Think about it. Blade of Rune King, Rage Blade. If you have those 2 items fit complete and you're fighting an enemy jungler like a Rengar who has only 1 item, how easy it is to destroy him. Movement speed won't help you there, just raw damage. That's why I prefer Treasure Hunter in most cases, even though I sometimes also myself take Relentless Hunter. And that's all that matters to that. Here, Sudden Impact is just not as good as Aibo Collection, but also totally fine. Zombie Ward, totally fine. This is the best room page you can have for Master Yi. Here, need to take attack speed, adaptive force, and scaling health. Most of the times, you're gonna play very consistently. That's what I always teach with my course, with my coaching, with all my videos, with my streams. You need to be consistent, and if you're consistent, you are gonna be getting your levels done before dying stupidly, and you want to have more health, which is just simply better. Now, this is the best room page, and I would recommend you to take that always. The one more thing you can think of, which you can consider, is now Overgrowth. This is very decent. You're getting a lot of gold value with that as well. Within a short time, I think level 13 or something, you already have an extra ruby crystal worth of stats, which is around 400 gold. So think about it and compare it with Treasure Hunter. The Treasure Hunter just gives you the gold for your necessary item. Treasure Hunter gives you the gold for Blade of Rune King faster, gives you the gold for Rage Blade faster, and this just gives you raw survivability, which is not bad, but doesn't give you the thing you needed, as I told you. Here you can take Bone Plating, totally fine. Oh, what did I always take? Let me think. Conditioning, of course. Conditioning gives you armor, magic resist, especially with the build path later we're going to talk about. It's going to be really, really nice to have, and gives you, especially when you're very tanky, when you have a lot of HP, enough survivability to be tanky enough to survive the most burst forms. Okay, so this is the best. As you can see, was very easy. Everything you needed to know about runes. That's it. That's all you need to know. And my advice for you is, if you are a Master Yi enjoyer, in a way better position than I was back then, because you have me. You can learn through me. I'm legit doing this for a living. My full time invested is for you guys. I gained knowledge for years and years and years, so I can teach it for you guys, and I'm very, very thankful to be in the position to help you out. Okay, so utilize that, copy as much as you can, and conquer. That is everything towards the runes. Let's talk about the state of Master Yi. How strong is Master Yi right now in this patch? I didn't make a tier list yet. You can write it in the comments if you want to have a tier list as well. I would say that Master Yi is around A- to A+. That means he's in a really decent position. I think he's really, really strong. I would recommend you to play Master Yi, and I would recommend you to become really good at with him, especially if you enjoy the champion. Like the way how I always see it, and exactly how I explain it in my fundamental jungle course. You can climb to Challenger and to rank 1 with every single champion in the game. If you cannot, you are simply not good enough. So it's never a thought of how good is this champion. That's, I think, I never saw it this way my entire life, by the way. I just only started it doing when I was like, okay, people really care about this, so I'm gonna think what is meta, what is strong, what should people play. But generally speaking, how I did it with myself is I never really cared what state champions are in, unless of course the champion is absolutely dead and really unplayable. Even then it's fine, you're able to get to challenger with, but it's gonna be harder, of course. But the point is that you can climb 100% if you master the champion, if you learn the fundamentals, exactly like I explained it in the fundamental jungle course. It is in the description, ! course, my friends. And that is, yeah, that is all you need to conquer, and you will climb with that. Now, A plus to A minus, as I said, Master Yi, my rating is really, really good. We can check up his statistics real quick. Okay, so here we go. Here we have some stats for Master Yi. Forget about all the build stuff, everything. I mean, I will explain it in a second anyways. You can also check it here. You see people even do take sometimes sudden impact, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, so win rate wise, as you can see, he dropped after... it's an up and down since September. Here the new patch started. The new patch started, so like the split started, so it fell off. Then it increased a little bit, the win rate in general, throughout all the elos. Guys, Master Yi is totally fine. If you have your first item complete with Blade from King, for example, you already have throughout 70,000 games, you have a 51.5% win rate. It's up to you if you're gonna conquer or not, okay? And which items, of course, you're gonna buy. If you're gonna always troll, you're not gonna succeed in the long run. And overall, I don't. He, as you can see here on the statistics, he is doing totally fine, and I really enjoy playing him right now. Like, I am very happy that Riot Games introduced Lethal Tempo again, and I'm very happy that I'm in the position I am, being able to play Master Yi in the way I can, because I can carry so many games, even though sometimes it's hard. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the builds, and that is the next thing, okay? And after the build, there's going to be one more very important topic, and that is tips and tricks for Master Yo-Yo. Let's go. Items. I'm going to make a new one here. Everything else doesn't matter. First, let's look a little bit of the statistics. So win rate, first item, highest win rate, Blade from King. Without a doubt, highest sample size is the best. Second item, highest win rate, without a doubt, Rage Blade. Third item, highest win rate, not without a doubt, depending on the game, is Witsend, Kraken, Rageblade. Okay, Rageblade we don't count because I want you to take Rageblade every single time, a secondary, and Titanic. So, let's talk about it. It is actually very simple. Master Yi, crit build, lethality build, some specific technique kind of builds are all fine, but way worse than the actual real build. And the actual real build is legitimately what I want you to take every single game. It is Blade of Rune King first item. It is the best. I have so much experience and expertise in this topic. It is the best. There is no comparison to that. Next thing is, if you still are gonna be like, but what do you think about this build? What do you think about that build? Go to LoL Analytics, check the win rates, and you can try it. One example, you see, Profane Hydra, 52% win rate as secondary item. You can try it. Hubris, you see here, 53% win rate. I mean, the sample size is very low with 150 games. You can try it. If you enjoy it, it's not going to be game breaking. It's not going to be changing anything specifically, because the heart of Master Yi is always what the heart of Master Yi is going to be. And one last thing I want to say to other different builds and what I'm going to show here now. There is no secret ingredient in building. You're gonna simply get stats and you're gonna utilize those stats. There's not gonna be like, oh my god, this is the hidden technique, hidden build, I found it. That's not gonna work that way. If there's something gonna be extraordinary broken, we will not notice it within time, because a lot of people will find it out. There are so many players in this world testing and testing and testing, and there's not something extraordinary special. There's always gonna be what is the best in terms of statistics as well. Okay, so what I can tell you is the best item build is for sure Blade of Rune King into Rageblade, regardless of anything else, okay? Why? Because Blade of Rune King gives you the opportunity to kill anyone. Any tank, any bruiser, any ADC, anyone. You can just shred people to death. Next thing is Rage Blade. It gives you so much damage on hit. You can again shred everyone, fight anyone. It helps you so much with your passive. You permanently have double strike. You're permanently gonna, with your double strike, use Rage Blade, and with Rage Blade, use double strike more often. Like, it's just gonna be insanely good. You're gonna have an insane amount of attack speed. You're gonna have an insane amount of damage, especially in fights when you have Rage Blade stacked and you engage on an enemy ADC and you're queuing onto them and doing an auto attack, W auto attack with that, maybe in the future Titanic Hydra auto attack reset. You're gonna do 4 to 7 auto attacks within 1 second. Like, it gets so quick because you're gonna stack it up so quickly. Another double strike, another Rage Blade proc. And with that, all of that procs again Blader from King, and procs again Blader from King, and procs again Blader from King. And I want you to use that. Okay, for boots, I want you, and that is the best, before you buy Blader from King, you can already buy T1 boots. After you finish Blader from King, you can buy Berserker's Greaves, Steel Caps, and I'm gonna show you like this. You can buy Steel Caps, Mercs, and Berserkers. That is all totally fine, up to you. And depending on the game, most importantly. Sometimes you just need the armor. Sometimes you just need tenacity. Sometimes you don't need tenacity, and that's what I do most of the games. Still go Berserkers, because Berserkers gives you a faster clear. It gives you a faster fight potential. You clear objectives faster. You're able to do everything quicker. And if you do everything quicker, you're faster than the enemy jungler. And jungler is all about competition. You want to be faster than the enemy jungler. You need to be. And if you have Berserkers, you clear the enemy jungle faster, you clear your jungle faster, you get items faster, you're able to get to fights faster, and you're able to carry better. So in most games I still go Berserkers. I only go Steel Caps and Mercs when it's absolutely necessary. And you know yourself, it's not rocket science. Enemies have heavy AD, you can go Steel Caps. Enemies have heavy CC or heavy AP, you can go Mercs or later Wits End. And that's about it. Okay, now let's talk about all the other optional items. That means, what are you gonna buy as third item scenarios now? And now, exactly like this site here shows you, there are various options as, I would say, third item. Here I would say core, because this is the core of Master Yi, okay? There's Kraken. There's Titanic Hydra. There is Wits End. There is Death Stance, okay? And I'm also gonna put now all the other stuff because people want me to talk about it and just explain it for you guys real quick. There's Hexblade. There's Zeeks, okay? And then there's Hullbreaker, okay? These are all optional third items. And now, very important for Master Yi, if it's a potential third item, it's also a potential 4th, 5th, and 6th item. And that's about the build. Okay, so as full build, you always want to have something around this. Blader from King, Kraken, Titanic, Wits, and maybe Death Stance. That's always gonna be one of your core situational item build. Is there even anything else I didn't see? Terminus, potentially, maybe. Terminus, in very rare games, I go Terminus, but most games right now, I just go Kraken and Wits End, because I legitimately feel like it simply deals more damage in comparison. All the other items, Black Cleaver, Lord Dominic's, are not viable right now in what you're doing. Sterox is also very interesting. That's also one of the items that are potentially a really, really good optional. Jaksho, maybe with Terminus. Now, as I said, there are maybe 1 or 2 more items that are potentially good, like GA, for example, Guardian Angel. In some situations, it's Randuin's, of course, also interesting. But this is very rare, and in most cases, you don't want to have this, because when you are trying to, like, when you have to survive, when you are like proccing Guardian Angel and you're laying on the floor and you're standing up soon, right? Usually you don't have Q. Usually you don't have your ult up anymore. Usually you already used your flash, and most of the times you're just gonna die again. Like, if, let's say, a Syndra combos you, right? And she survives with 1 HP, and you are proccing GA. Are you really gonna survive it? Like, is she not gonna just WQE full combo you with a Poppy stun, with a Bard stun? Are you not just gonna die again? My honest question. Alistair Q, like, are you not just gonna explode right away once again? It's different than with other bruises, because Master Yi is a champion that will always die in a fight. And it's your like, you need to either kill the enemies quicker with more damage, or you need to be able to be so patient in a fight that you go in late in a fight when you know you are just very squishy. QSS ever. I don't do it. I think I have not bought QSS in a very, very long period of time. It is, of course, also optional, of course. If you're playing against some really, really annoying comp, Malza or whatever it is, right? Of course. But QSS will never save you. Let's say you play against Leona. What are you going to QSS? Her ult? Okay, she's going to flash Q onto you. What are you going to do then? Like, it costs you 1.3k gold and it gives you nothing. 30 magic resist. Who the fuck cares? You could also buy Witsend and get 45 magic resist and also get some sort of tenacity, which works against Leona ult and Leona Q. Being able to, and at the same time, even if Leona ult hits you, enemies are going to be prepared to engage. And even if you QSS it right away, you're still going to be stunned for 0.1 seconds. It's still going to be annoying. You're still going to need to react to it. It still needs to be on like off cooldown. You still need to be ready. You need to calculate with it. It's not going to be that easy. And I personally just don't think it's that worth it. What about Morphmal Murches, for example? Okay, there's one more item that is Morphmal Murches. I just don't think it's good because Witsend and Mercs is just better if you need really, really survivability on that. I think Witsend and Mercs and maybe Asterix is just better than Morphmal Murches because 60 attack damage and 15 ability haste does absolutely nothing to what Master Yi wants to have. It is fine, it's good, but other options are just better. Okay. So, and now what actually are you gonna take as third item scenarios? That's the big question. Again, it really depends on the game. But I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna buy when, and also what percentage needs to be for you to, like, what percentage of the games you should be buying which item. Kraken is probably the best third item in the game if you need raw damage. It does more damage than Titanic, it does more damage than Witsend. What I would recommend you to do is only go Kraken as third item if you feel like you're gonna die anyways and you just need to get as much damage off as possible. Let's say you play against Chase and Syndra. You need to be able to kill them before they kill you, otherwise you're gonna die anyways. If you get hit by one Syndra stun, you're not gonna survive it just because you have Titanic Hydra, my friend. You're not gonna survive it. Trust me. Okay? So when you think you're gonna die regardless, I would go Kraken, and that is right now in around 40% of all games. In a lot of my games, I go Titanic as third because it gives me survivability, people are not able to burst me fully, it gives me a decent amount of damage, it gives me another auto attack reset, which works again with my Rage Blade, Blade from King, and Double Strike. It's really decent, and I can build on Titanic Hydra. For example, if you have Titanic Hydra and another survivability tool like Witsend and Hullbreaker, you're gonna be extremely tanky. I personally don't like Hullbreaker that much anymore. I just think Titanic is better, and after that, I rather want to have something like Sterox, Hexplate, or just more raw damage, personally. Okay, Witsend simply against a lot of AP. Does very similar damage to Kraken. I would say Witsend is just better when you need some tenacity and also some magic assist. If you're playing against a very annoying AP champion that also stuns here and there. Let's say Galio, right? You don't want to have Kraken. You can have just Witsend and you're fine. You're totally fine. Okay, so Hexplate is something I would recommend to take if you feel like you're going to have a lot of fights because you want to have your ult up all the time. And you just need to have it. In lots of games where the enemies, let's say, have like a Taric, they have champions that don't want to fight all the time, then you don't need to have Hexplate, and you're just gonna prepare perfectly for the fights with better items like Kraken and Witsend. All the other options, Zeeks, Randuins, they're all situational, and I think not the most optimal. I personally go always, as I said, Blade from King into Rage Blade, into maybe Titanic or Kraken or Witsend, into maybe Titanic or Kraken or Witsend, into maybe Sterox or maybe Hexblade, barely, into Witsend, into Kraken or Deathstance. And I'm going to repeat that over and over again. And the rest is, as I said, situational, and you are smart enough to know it yourself when things happen. Enemies have an insane amount of crit and you feel like, okay, I need some armor. You can go as third item Randuins. You can go as fourth item Randuins. You can also go as third item Kraken as fourth Randuins, and you can go as third Randuins and as fourth Kraken. All is totally fine. Okay, that's about the build with Master Yi. Everything that is necessary. All the other topics are not as important. Now we come to some tips and tricks with Master Yi. How do you, in general, be able to conquer with Master Yi? Do you have any tips to climb out of low elo with Master Yi? Anything specific you should focus on? My tip for you. First of all, start red buff in most of the situations. You want to path from red buff to your blue buff, no matter where you want to path to, because Crux and Chickens give you more gold and XP and respawn faster than Grump and Wolves does if you do a blue buff. So you want your Crux and Crux and Chickens always to respawn faster because they give you more resources. Next thing is, objectives don't matter too much. Don't die stupidly on objectives. You do clear objectives very quick. So the moment you think an objective is free, I want you to instantly take it, because Master Yi is very quick at that. If you think it's gonna be a fight, you don't want to take it. You don't want to have a skirmish. If the enemies have a Jarvan and you are Master Yi and you're fighting enemy grubs and there's gonna be a skirmish, usually you lose it, because Master Yi is not as good at that, okay? So you want to take it slow and only take the objectives if they're very healthy for you, if you're able to get them. Next thing is, you want to take all your camps and as many camps as possible on your spawn. You want to get an insane amount of resources consistently and have always a very decent high CS count. Note all of these things down, make like a list, and it's gonna help you a lot as well, by the way. Next tip, Master Yi is really strong at tower diving. Utilize that, one of Master Yi's specific strengths and weakness. I explain all of the things very detailedly on my fundamental jungle course. You can check it out on the description, and Conquer as well. I'm gonna show you right here how it looks like. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is how it looks like, my fundamental jungle course. Here I explain all the topics, how you can conquer, exactly like what champion should you play, how do you play those champions, what specific strengths and weakness do they have, and now I'm just going to give you a small insight on how it looks like for Master Yi, the topics I talked about and also the topics I will still talk about. Your duty is to become extremely good at your strengths and remove all the weaknesses, and with that you will have a way easier time to conquer, because usually the reason you are stuck is not because you're full garbage. The reason you're stuck is because you're missing information, you're simply missing knowledge, and you're not playing the game as it should to be in simple terms, okay? So your goal should be is that you play it correctly, you use your champion correctly, you use your strengths correctly, you find your strengths, you build onto your strengths. Games will get easier, and then let's say you are a gold player, you will be suddenly playing in diamond being like, I cannot believe that I was stuck in gold once. I just simply cannot believe it. So you can DM me on Discord and let me, I can give you more information on that. It's also in the description, !Discord, my friend, and I can explain more on it and try my absolute best to help you, because that's all I do with all my heart. Okay, next thing here. What is another thing Master Yi is very strong at? I said tower diving. Yes, he's really good at counter ganking. That means if an Jarvan EQs into the lane, you're gonna kill him. I give you a good example. Let's say you're level 6 with Master Yi, right? And an Ezreal E's into your bot lane and then flashes into your bot lane as well, gets a kill. And you're ganking him now with your ult, Q, and flash up. This Ezreal is 100% dead, and the enemy support is also gonna die, and you know that. So Master Yi is really good at counter ganking because enemies use their stuff already, and then you can just put all your output, all your damage output. You're really strong at that. And at the same time, one more strength Master Yi has is ganking bot lane with level 6. That's something you should always do when you are level 6. When you have flash up, you want to find bot lane ganks and conquer and kill them and destroy them. And then you ult and flashes on cooldown. Now, quiz question for you. What are you going to do then? You're going to accept it. Go back to your camps. You got your stuff. You got your resources. You got everything you wanted. Buy your items, and once you have ult up again, you can find another bot lane gank. Once you have flash up again, you can find another play. But before that, you're not gonna go for gank. So, big tip for you for Master Yi players: do not try to go for a gank when your ult is on cooldown, and especially when your ult and flash are both on cooldown. You can only go for a gank if it's very, very promising. And my tip for you is that you go for the gank with ult and flash, you get a double kill, let's say, and then you're gonna power farm again until you have ult up, and on your ult up, you're gonna insta lane gank as well, for example, which is another strength Master Yi is good at. Okay, these are some tips and tricks I can give you. Try to get your Rage Blade power spike. On each power spike, Blade from King and Rage Blade, you want to have skirmishes, you want to have fights, you want to contest stuff, because now you have Blade from King, now you can go on a fight, now you can, now you are way stronger than the enemy jungler in the situation, and you can utilize that. That is everything I wanted to teach you guys. I hope I can help you out with all my efforts. And now you are allowed to ask me a few questions. It's only going to be around 40 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to go back into game. You're allowed to ask me questions right now. Okay, that's everything. That's everything you need to know about Master Yi. And now you all are totally covered, my friends. I have a question. When you don't have your ult up and there's a fight happening, what do? Go in and suicide first, or tempo your ult to hope the fight lasts long enough to get it and finish? Very good question, Faker Up. What I can tell you here is you communicate as good as you possibly can. Also, what I explained on the course, communication. How do you communicate properly? How are you able to tell your team that you don't want to fight? You need to utilize that as best as you can possibly do. And if they still fight, maybe you should legitimately sell them. If you end up just dying and getting nothing from it, it would have been better to get your tempo and just do your camps correctly. How much do you deadlift? Very important question. 220 kilogram. Okay. When you start red on blue side, bot and clear towards top, do you find enemy jungle gets free play bot more often? Do you ever start blue buff if you know bot is going to be volatile? Sometimes if my bot then is way too volatile, I'm sure of getting dove very early on, I can start blue buff and pep bot side. But most of the time, you can do a full clear and then reset and then still be able to be some sort of usefulness and help out. Just because your enemy jungler gets once a bot lane play, doesn't mean that you're gonna weak set your bot lane for eternity. Like usually when you clear, let's say here wrap of chickens into wrap of Crux chickens, wolves, grump, blue, scuttle, reset, Crux into bot lane gank, or Crux into chickens into bot lane gank, or Crux into chickens into wolves, grump into reset into lane gank, bot lane gank. You can still be able to play a lot on bot lane. You can also invade if your bot lane is prior. You can play with them. Most of the things you will see during the game. You cannot judge immediately. Do you go full damage or get some health items like Varmok said when you're playing versus balanced fat team AP team? Once again, you will buy damage if you think you're not gonna survive it with the tank items anyways. Let's say they have Syndra and Chase, as I explained it earlier. Or you are gonna buy survivability if you think that that is actually gonna make a difference of you surviving fights. Does pure split push Master Yi works? What's the build? The build is exactly the same what I always talked about. Pure split push does not work. It's always game dependent, and it's one of Master Yi's strengths. So you gotta utilize it and see in which games it fits and in which situations it fits. Usually it fits when you don't think you're gonna team fight. Usually it fits when the enemy are very weak on side. Let's say they have only Aatrox top lane and Dr. Mundo jungle. It's a very good sign for you to side lane. If they have Bard and Rek'Sai, Bard and Kha'Zix, you usually can't side lane because they're gonna catch you way too quickly. How do you play Master Yi when your team does not have a front line and enemy team has a lot of CC or burst and you cannot engage first? Usually you can still wait for an engage from the enemy team and then they use some abilities and you can utilize that and engage on them, and you need to be even more patient. That's that simple. Or you can then start to split push a lot as well. If that doesn't work and your team is fully garbage and they don't have any engage and they can't do anything, that's one of the signs that you're probably gonna lose the game, which is totally fine as well. That's life. You will continue. You will find another game, which you're gonna win. And most situations, as I said, your team will still be able to engage somehow. Enemy team will still be able to engage themselves. And then you can, with patience, conquer. Most important question, what's Yi's best skin? Okay, that's the last question to round it up here. For me, it's 100% Ink Shadow Master Yi and Eternal Sword Master Yi are both absolutely goated. I still think Ink Shadow is a little bit better, but Eternal Sword Master Yi is so beautiful. And all the other skins are just A tier. And those two are just S tier. Have a wonderful remaining day, guys. I wish you the best. Good luck at conquering. You're the goats. Much love. And let's conquer together.